Nation. Ooh, it's possible.
Good evening. I hope you can hear me okay. It's been a while, so we can have a decent conversation about new possibilities and hopefully we'll start looking progressively towards what should be, for the country because basically from next year we start looking at elections. So it's a good time to start working on the mindset of people, mindset of citizens, to be honest, so we can start projecting the reality of a situation, which is if we are not prepared for something, then how is that going to happen? The plan is to have this a live podcast series every Sunday where we talk about technically the possibilities of obviously of a new Nigeria per se, not necessarily from a political point of view, simply from a civic point of view, from a reality point of view, where we can really look at the situation of things and more or less start analyzing things technically, because it's been a while since we've been on this journey per se. So why not put things on the table, as we forge ahead? So welcome, Joe. How are you doing? How have you been?
Very long time, so.
I know. It's been a minute, as we say. It's been a minute. It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, it is awesome to hear yours too. I have to come back online after over 4 months, going to closely 5 months after my phone was collected in the city of Calabar on gunpoint.
I remember you said something like that.
The way the economy is, I've not been able to get a phone. Even this one now is, how do we call it? They call it buying for credit.
Okay, so it's you buy now and pay later, huh?
Yeah, you'll be paying. It will be spreaded for a minimum of 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll just be paying small.
Well, it's good. It's good you're back because you see, we've been watching situation of things, and it still comes back to where we started from, which is projection. We like the topic says, forging ahead. So I thought going forward, it's a live podcast kind of thing, not a submission based thing where people come and talk and say all kinds of stuff. Let's make it like a podcast where, a few of us can have these conversations openly and really, really start projecting the realities of things that will happen going forward. That is the format that for the last 2-3 months we've been thinking deeply as to what, with regards to how best can we start this engagement and cut out the noise. And so far, I think this is the best format where we just have an open and honest conversation, like a podcast, and then we can take it from there. So the plan is to do it every Sunday between 6 and 7. Just have a live podcast on the New Nigeria being possible.
You should know it's not even something that you are hoping or you are even trying to ask me. You know that this is actually what made you to identify me on this space, on this blue app, whether we call it blue app or X app or whatever.
Yes.
You understand? Because my position has been very clear, even when we have always been subsumed by the noisemakers.
Obviously, we're not new to this conversation. It's a conversation we've been having for more than a year. But having looked at the situation, we thought it would be a good idea to revamp the conversation, and use an appropriate engagement style that is more suitable to, or rather more aligned with empowerment, really. Because it could be a nasty situation, as we already are experiencing in Nigeria. It could be a nasty situation if there's no hope. So any thread of hope or encouragement we can cling on to, I think is only fair we do it diligently. We barely have 2 years before perceived change of power comes. So it's only fair that we are armed with the right mindset. But how do we have that mindset if we don't project something forward? I think that's where we made a mistake before.
Okay. So, well, like what I was saying is the fact that we must come with something that is completely an alternative that people will be able to see and say, oh, let us check this new thing. You remember in the scripture when St. Paul got to a particular place, I think in the Gentile land, and he saw that each compound has a god that they named, give it a different name, and that those people they are worshiping that one different god. So the only thing that he could do to be able to preach the gospel there is not that God does not exist in that place. It's not that they don't know God, they don't love God, and they are not worshiping. But the truth is that what they were worshiping is something that is not really the God that St. Paul knew. Really was God of the finger was in that village, the God of the tongue, God of the eye, God of thunder, God of the rain, and everything was there. But the only thing that was not an altar and a God that is being worshipped there is the unknown God. And then Paul said to an unknown God, I want to take you people to an unknown God. And then everybody came out and said, is there still a God elsewhere that we don't know, that does not exist in the whole of this city?
I see what you mean.
And then he took them to Christ.
Right.
So we need to come with something that is not known. And we cannot come to a country whereby our political system is designed such that it is about criminality. It is about being inhuman, being insultive, being rigorous in all front, being confrontational without speaking to issues and all of that. So if we come and then open spaces from morning till night, and then we pick one person and keep on put on the table, dissect the person,
right?
The person's intestines and all that. It is the same thing that has been done in Nigeria since 1960.
You're right. You're right.
So we must come with
something unique. Technically a different mindset as opposed to what we already know or what we were working with before, which didn't really pay us per se. You see, when we project the possibilities of something, it creates the mindset for us to operate in. I think that's the key word there is mindset. Have we had that mindset as Nigerians per se? I don't think so. I think we've been operating under the mindset of I want, I need, as opposed to let's build. So if you look at where we are as a country at this point in time, everybody wants something. Everybody kind of needs something, but very few are willing to build this thing that they actually want. So in order for us to start looking ahead, we have to forge through the cracks, as it may. We have to look at what is being presented to us and then work with what is being projected to us. Picking up from what Joe was saying. So Joe was basically painting a picture of what needs to happen. We cannot continue with the old way of thinking. Like I said earlier, this is the end of 2024. The minute we go into 2025, It's almost election season again. So where does that leave us if we don't have the right mindset to engage? We have to start projecting what we know is possible amongst ourselves. And fair enough, a lot of people have given up hope, which is understandable. It's not a problem. But the very few who have hope need to amplify that hope. I think they need to project that hope forward to others. And for that to happen, it's a complete paradigm shift. It's a shift from the normal way of thinking and then, looking for a balance, looking for a situation where, a situation that is centered around empowerment, around nation building, around individuals coming together, around us looking at ourselves and saying, what can we now start working on? Because technically, from the dawn of time, there's always a situation that can be better. There's always a better situation, regardless of what your situation is.